I got a compliment today.
Ooh.
Did you?
I answered the phone and it was like the National Contact Center for work. And they're like, he's like, you have a lovely phone voice. And I'm like, he's like, it's just so smooth. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Have you tried working in phone sex?
We're doing a podcast. All calls may be recorded for quality and coaching purposes. Please speak with your agent if you do not wish to have your call recorded.
Did I send you? Oh man, I was this thing. It was just a dumb meme, but it was like, why have 3 kids and no money when you can have no kids and 3 money?
Truth.
I believe the church is in better condition than it has been at any time in its entire history. My beloved brethren and sisters,
welcome to Once Upon a Mormon,
another testament of religious abuse.
So many have been hurt.
Persecutions may rage, mobs may combine.
whom shall we go?
Sown in corruption. We need you.
Never again.
Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Once Upon a Mormon. I am Sister May, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Sister Donna, and Brother Hiram. How are you guys going this lovely evening?
Really good.
Yeah, doing well. We're recording on a lovely Monday. This is our family home evening.
Yeah.
Living our best lives out here.
Yeah. I
Look at us
finally
recording
got the
for the second
monsters to
time
sleep. Sorry.
Recording for the second time in like a week.
Yeah. We're on a roll, guys.
Hell
Christmas
yeah.
miracle.
We just needed a little break, and now we're back on the steam train
Yes.
to Utah.
No, we're not on a steam train. We're on some super zoom rail. What's that called? High-speed rail. That's what we're on. We don't have that in Australia, but we can dream.
One day.
Yeah. Cool. So, does anybody have any news to share?
I do.
Yes.
I get a promotion at work, which is
fully sick.
Yay!
yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. No, really good. Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah. So that's me. I've just gone from like a graduate role to like a project role, which is good. Stepping up.
Bringing in the moolah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's only a small pay increase, but it's good, and it's probably going to have a bit more responsibility now, which should be interesting. But yeah, look at us go, like not even paying tithing and still just like, always going up, always getting more, doing more. It's going great. I can't believe it.
I'd like to bear my testimony that I know that if I pay myself tithing, I will gain the blessings from it.
Yes.
Amen. Oh, God.
I don't think there's really much going on in my life since last week. I think it's just another busy week. Just a lot happening.
Yeah.
People still dying.
That'll happen.
That'll ruin your life.
That's so bad.
That is sensitive of me.
That's all right.
I'm desensitized now.
The end of days is coming, and then we'll have the millennium where like nobody will die. So really, I don't think your job is actually that sustainable, Brother Hiram.
Yeah.
All good things come to an
sorry.
It's the end of days, guys. Any day now, I bet.
Next minute.
Jesus is going to come down, and we're just going to be like, oh, fuck.
Shit. Well, with that being said, let's just jump right in.
Hell yeah. What are we talking about today?
Alrighty, so today we are having the wonderful discussion of marriage. So
I wonder what brought this discussion on.
Nothing to do with personal events.
There's been a very special marriage in our circle of late.
I'm going to get it kicked off. We'll be cancelled.
Love that. But yeah, so basically, for those listening, do one of you spiritual thought? Do we want to share a spiritual thought?
Actually, I have got a wonderful and uplifting spiritual thought. So this is from the beloved and inspired Elder Boyd K. Packer, who once said in April 1981 General Conference, "Even a rickety marriage will serve good purpose as long as the two people struggle to keep it from falling down around them."
Jeez.
I am so inspired.
Don't you just want to get married in the church?
That's great. I love that.
Just got to keep it all together, guys. Trust me, it'll be worth it.
My God, that is my parents' marriage, and I hate every second of it.
Yeah.
I swear they should have divorced like 10 years ago.
Right.
Kind of wanting to explain for those that aren't familiar with the Mormon church, how do they kind of view marriage?
How do Mormons view marriage?
Yes.
Wow.
I won't be able to say it properly this whole episode.
I don't think we need to. I think we can absolutely just say marriage every time. Well, I mean, I guess, so in the church they call it a sealing ceremony, all right? And it's not like, it's not raise the roof or anything. Like, you know, like sealing with a C.
Very good.
Anyway.
Funny.
Look at me go, guys.
Love it.
Yeah. No, so sealing, as in being sealed to one another, as in like bound together for eternity. It's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty massive commitment. You know, I guess outside of the church, it's all sort of till death do you part. But in the church, it's for time and all eternity, which is forever and ever and
Forever and ever.
Yes. So pretty big deal, pretty big commitment. Don't recommend making it when you're 18.
Noted.
Yeah. Just, you know, for any of our, like, if we happen to have any younger listeners out there, guys, you don't know what you want for your life when you're 18. You really don't.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, I thought I wanted to go on a mission. I mean, sorry how that turned out.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes. No, I went on a different kind of mission. Yeah, so I guess that's like one of the key differences. And yeah, like a church sealing, the whole ceremony is a little bit different from your standard marriage ceremony. For one, it happens in the temple. So we've talked about the temple before. You have to be, you know, very worthy. You have to have a temple recommend. You have to be endowed before you can be sealed. And anybody who comes and witnesses your temple wedding, your sealing ceremony, also has to be endowed. So if you have, you know, friends and family outside of the church, they can't witness that ceremony.
Do you have to
I'm
be
still
well
glad you
endowed?
didn't wait for me. Like 3 months,
You didn't
man.
invite me.
Yeah, Sister May. Well, I didn't even know you, Brother Hiram. I can't be held
Oh my
responsible.
God, no. How could you not invite Brother Hiram? That's
Yeah.
the worst.
But yes, no, Sister May missed out because, yeah, I was too eager. And
Sex.
yes,
It's all about the well endowed.
we were in love. I wanted to be with him forever.
And we
Anyways,
see how well that's going.
so great.
We don't need a mental breakdown on this.
Yeah, see it.
Gonna have
I'm
a-
doing great, guys. I'm fine. I'm so fine.
I need tissues.
I'm fine.
Fine.
You have wine.
Yes. Yeah, so anyway, the temple ceremony, like the sealing ceremony, I think is a bit fucking weird compared to traditional marriages. So like we've talked about in the endowment ceremony how you get all dressed up in those weird outfits. You know, the women have the veil and they have like their robes on and that weird like green apron thing. And the men have got that weird chef's hat and like all their robes and shit. Well, you have to wear all of that shit when you get sealed. So you're just like dressed up in these ridiculous clothes. Like it is not at all flattering. The wedding dress as well. I remember there was like really strict like requirements for the wedding dress. Ooh, we're in a plane now. Sorry, brother Hiram's just messing with the Skype background.
So like little babies on a plane.
We are so tiny. Yeah, so crap, where was I? Yeah, so the wedding dress, so actually the wedding dress that Sister May made for me for my wedding was actually not the dress I wore inside the temple because so your temple dress has to be like, you have to be completely covered. So like long sleeves, dress has to be all the way down to your feet. You can't.
Didn't we specifically make yours so that you could wear it?
Yeah, and then I think I found out like after you started making it that it wouldn't be temple appropriate because you can't have a train and the white has to be like white, like pure white. You can't have ivory white. And I think the dress that you made me was like, you know, that ivory white. So it wasn't the pure white. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so.
All my hard hours of labor.
I know. Yes. But I got to wear it outside the temple. So actually what I did was because at the temple you're able to borrow dresses that they have there, and I was able to just borrow a temple dress and then wear that for the ceremony, and then I got changed into my actual wedding dress for photos and stuff outside. But yeah, and of course everybody else in the temple is, you know, all dressed in white and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit weird. And yeah, and because you know, I got married young, a lot of the friends I hadn't been endowed yet. You know, so it was just sort of like a few relatives that were in the church that came, like my grandparents. And yeah, the guy that marries you is just another temple worker, doesn't know us. I can't remember who he was. But yeah, anyway. And then I guess So
do you have like an actual like a civil ceremony type thing?
Not really. Like we do sign the certificate. I think. I feel like we did that beforehand. I can't remember now. Maybe it was after, but it was just in like the little office. Like it wasn't actually.
Who do you give you notice of intention to marry?
Well, we did have to do that. I think that just goes to the state, though, doesn't it? Yeah, we had to fill out something.
You got to lodge it with someone that is authorized.
Oh, well, that was probably. Would the bishop have done that? I can't even remember now.
Yeah, probably would have been the bishop because they're like, what are they called? They can marry people.
Yeah, or maybe it was the stake president. I can't remember.
Was it the bishop can marry? Like when I was in a branch, the bishop married my brother and his current wife in the bishop's land room.
Really?
Yeah.
How romantic.
It was funny because like a couple of us got invited and invited my grandmother, but they didn't want to tell her because they didn't want anyone to know. And so my second oldest brother picked her up and said she was going to babysit the kids. And so she was at this wedding of an evening in her pajamas. He was
Oh
so mad. she hasn't let it go.
Oh, that's amazing.
My God, why would you not tell her like you're taking her out for like dinner or something?
Yeah.
You know, poor Nan.
Yes.
Rip.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's continue.
Well, yeah, my marriage ceremony, I guess, is a bit more, a bit more formal than that. No pajamas would have been allowed in the sealing room.
Rip.
Unless they were pure white, then maybe they would have been. But anyways, and then like the vows are like really simple. Like it's a really short ceremony. And basically you like the man I think the important distinguishing thing in the vows that like I was looking, I had to look up what they were again because I'd forgotten, but I do recall there being like, you know, it felt like I was basically becoming my ex's property. Like that's the way they kind of word it. And it is like the woman gives herself to the man and the man receives her.
Well, you got to remember that this was designed for maximum efficiency. When Jay Smith was just like banging him out of the temple, he's like, boom, next, boom, next, boom, next. Yeah, he hasn't got all day. He's a busy man.
Yeah. He's got 14-year-olds to marry. Jesus.
Oh God.
Yeah. No. So anyways, I forgot actually to bring up the vow script. These are the marriage vows. So it'll be brother, you know, whatever his last name is. Do you take sister, her last name?
Brother Hiram. Do you take sister Donna?
By the right hand and receive her unto yourself to be your lawfully wedded wife. And then for the woman, it'll be give yourself to him to be his lawfully wedded wife and receive him to be your lawfully wedded husband for time and all eternity, with a covenant and promise that you will observe and keep all the laws, rights, and ordinances pertaining to this holy order of matrimony in the new and everlasting covenant. And this you do in the presence of God, angels, and these witnesses of your own free will and choice. And then you say yes. You don't say I do or anything. And really, like, the question is just like, do you do this like out of your own free will and choice? So like
they're covering all their legal bases.
Yeah, pretty much.
She said it counts.
Yeah. So it's pretty unromantic. There's no ring exchange. There's no like, you know, kiss or anything in the temple. We just have this very short ceremony. I think the guy sealed us. Yeah. Like, honestly, the sealing ceremony was such a small part of that day. Because the rest of it, like, you know, we went and took photos, then we went up and had our reception. And at our reception, we had a ring ceremony for, like, you know, our family and friends that couldn't come to the sealing. And we had our own vows that we kind of said then as well. But yeah, so the Mormon sealing ceremony is shit. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, then, did we want to, from that, jump across to Brother Hiram? If you could kind of explain, if you want to, like, your wedding day, and then we can kind of, like, see the difference between a sealing, Mormon sealing, and a regular wedding.
Yeah, sure.
Let's just do a Venn diagram, like similarities and then all of the
pros and cons.
We're actually comparing our products.
I guess similarities.
It's a different model.
Yeah, there's really none. Yeah.
So I guess, like, in terms of my wedding, so I had a civil wedding. I had a civil celebrant, and a lot of it was very customized to us and who we were. So, like, when you look at the temple wedding, it's very specific, very rote. It's very much the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
Whereas our ceremony, we sat down with this celebrant and we said, this is who we are. This is what we're about. This is what we enjoy. And then she went away and then sort of formulated a script that she would say, because she said most of it. So my husband, he's not a big fan of public speaking. And so he didn't really want to have a big part where he'd have to like say heaps and do all of this stuff. So essentially she said pretty much all of it. And then the parts that we said, we just repeated after her. So we kept it short and simple.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of parts in there that are legal requirements when being married. And so she had to say.
Are you doing this of your own free will?
Yeah, pretty much. Like in its own way, yeah. So so she has to say a couple of those, and most of it is just what you want to say. It's just filler. Like a wedding could literally be like 60 seconds done and dusted, but you want it to be the event. So so we had we had 48 people there, and we just invited people along that we wanted there, and capped it where they capped us and said what we wanted to say and did it the way we wanted to do, and it was meaningful. I think that was the biggest difference, is it wasn't just sort of sit there and he didn't have to accept that I was his husband and yield unto me. It was we came, like when we walked in, we came in together. We didn't have one person waiting. Like everything we did was in sort of companionship and togetherness.
Yeah. No, I definitely. Yeah, it's a big contrast for sure. I don't think I cried at all or really felt much emotion during the sealing ceremony, because it was done so quick and it didn't feel. It didn't really feel like anything. The other thing I forgot to mention as well is that they make you kneel at this altar and you like hold each other's hands in the patriarchal grip, which is that weird monkey grip.
I like what you said, Brother Hiram, about it being more meaningful to you as a wedding, because, like, we all know how Mormons feel about gays, and especially with the gay weddings, and that's a big topic that my dad likes to bang on to me about, and it's
of course
annoying. And he's all like, oh, they can get married, but, like, marriage is a Christian thing, and all of this shit about having gay people married makes it meaningless. And I'm like, when just listening to both of you describe your weddings, it's like it doesn't matter how it happens. Or do you know what I'm trying to say? The temple marriage sounds like it's so impersonal and just get it in, get it done, get over with. Whereas Brother Hiram, your wedding was so personal and it was beautiful, and I really felt the spirit. But it's just probably one of the most beautiful moments that I've experienced in a very long time. And I don't know, I think when people, or I guess when Mormons kind of come out with that, it's not right to have gay weddings, I'm like, well, they're a lot better than going to a Mormon wedding. They actually mean something, probably more than
like one of the things,
and having the same thing as everybody else.
One of the things I found as I was reading up for this episode was one of the most common threads. It comes down to family and children. Like the whole purpose of getting married is, like, one part of it is abstaining until marriage, and so some Mormons will want to get in there and get it done so they can start bonking away. It's all about the kids.
Can't imagine.
We'll circle back to this. Like the whole point of procreating and having children, it's just like you're not actually getting married for yourself. You're getting married to make more kids, because more kids mean more members mean more tithing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yes, you're getting married to serve some like bigger purpose. you know, and I think the other argument that people have about marriage and gay people getting married is that, you know, marriage is between like a man, woman, and God, and like, you know, God hates gays, so of course he's not going to like.
Brother Hiram, when are we catching a taxi to hell?
So, okay, I'm going to chime in on this part, okay? So the whole gay marriage debate is just stupid.
It is.
Yeah.
Marriage in a form has been around long before Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, pagans have celebrated unions for thousands of years. In nearly every culture, they've celebrated unions and being together because it's a common natural trait of, you know, wanting to be with one special person. You know, in some cultures, you know, maybe a couple of special people, you know, go for gold. But in a generalized fashion, wanting to be with that one special person for your entire existence is a common thread. And so it's been celebrated for thousands of years. It's not a Christian thing. That's bullshit. You know, Christians just formalize it as a form of control. You look at the way it's structured in that women are to yield to their husband and give them everything because the husband is the head of the household and they get to make all the decisions. That's not marriage.
No.
Marriage is about coming together as two individuals to be one. And you take that and you work together and you build with each other and grow. That's the whole point. It's not about control. It's about giving away control.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And and I think like, I don't know. That's why I sort of see marriage in a worldly sense is so much more special, like, because it really is your choice and you wait, you know, till you're actually ready and and you're making this decision because you want to be with that person and you want to make that commitment to that person because you really love them and you trust them and you want to build a life with them, not just because it's something that you have to do so that you can progress in your relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you've already reached like a good, comfortable, safe place in that relationship that you feel like you can make that commitment.
It took us, my husband and I, it took us about 5.5 years to reach that point where we're like, okay, maybe we'll start looking at getting married. And then 3 months before we actually got married, we started planning like that. Okay. 10 out of 10 would not recommend planning that quickly, but regardless.
It was still beautiful.
It was gorgeous. Yeah. You know, we planned it 3 times. I planned it 3 times. I'm glad he doesn't listen to this podcast. Too traumatic for him. But anyway, you know, we planned it 3 times, and each time we're like, no, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. We're doing it too much for other people until we got to the point where we're like, no, stuff it. We're doing it how we want it for us. Yeah. And it turned out perfect. The day was perfect. Couldn't have asked for anything else. And that's the whole point. You know, it's about the 2 people that are getting married. I kind of want to circle back, all right, back to the point that I made of Mormons marrying just to have sex. So what are some of the records you've seen? What are some of the fastest marriage times you've seen from dating to marriage?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, you remember that guy in the ward we were in? I think, or maybe they met. And then 2 weeks later, they were engaged. And then a couple months later, they were married. And now they have, like, 3 kids. And she moved from America. And she was going out to, like, lunches with my mom. She was miserable.
Wait. Is this the girl I, like, lived with for a little bit? Like,
it was the stake president's son.
The stake president's son. Wait.
Who was in he came back from his mission and then went back to America.
Oh.
You know.
Wait, the one that married the girl from his mission. Well, I think I know. I don't know. I definitely know that there were people who got married quicker than, you know, my ex and I got married.
How long was it for you guys?
For For us, we were together for, I think it wasn't very long. We were dating for, like, we were together for more than a year before we got married, which I think is pretty good.
In Mormon standards, that's ages. That's an eternity.
I know.
Yeah.
We done well, because I think we started dating around April, and then we got married in July of the next year. Yeah. But we were engaged, I think.
In December, because I was in January.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, like 8 months, I guess, before we got engaged. And
looking back now, like, I was engaged for 6 years, or 4 years to the day, when we'd been dating for been dating for 6 years today, but 4 of those years were engaged. Like, looking back now, getting married within a year is insane.
Yeah, it is fucking nuts. And also, now that I think about it, I can't even remember if this was before or after I turned 18 that we got engaged. I remember as well that we had EFY like that, like in January or something. And I went to EFY as a youth, because you can go from the time that you're like 14 to 18. So I went as one of the youth, and I was engaged at that point. I was wearing my like ring around.
What the fuck?
Which, now that I think about it, is fucking insane.
Child bride.
Oh my God.
That's
Legal.
And I remember as well, because like, my ex is a little bit older than me. So I was 18 and he was 22. 22. And I remember one of the girls in my EFY company or whatever, she was like, so do you just like have a thing for older guys? And I'm like, no.
The thing for older guys. It's just a return missionary thing.
It's like, Jesus, I'm just, following the examples of all of, the Mormon ancestors.
The Spirit has prompted me.
This guy is my Joseph Smith, and I am that 14-year-old girl.
You hear these people getting married, like engaged and married within 6 months or 3 months.
I know. It's crazy. And like, I do, we laugh about it a lot now, but at the time, I definitely felt like it was the right thing to do, and I did pray about it, and it did feel right to me at the time. And honestly, like, I do think for the most part we had a pretty good marriage, and us like, divorcing all sort of ended very amicably as well. So like, not an all bad experience. Just, I don't know. I feel like it took away years from my life that, I could have spent actually forming my own identity. And, but yeah,
What star rating would you give it?
What star rating? A solid 4 out of 5, I'd say. It was pretty good. Could have been better, but it was all right.
Is that the sex department?
No. Nah, that was pretty good. It was just a lot of emotional things and shifts in values and, financial issues, because even though we were paying our tithing, we just weren't doing it well enough, I guess, to get a house deposit. So
well, this is the thing, is that, especially when you marry that young, you're not emotionally matured yet. Like, it's all good and well to be mature for your age. That's just a predatory excuse. It's all good and well to, as a youth or as a young adult, to be relatively mature for your age. But until you get to my advanced age of 28, you look back and you realize,
old.
Stop banging me out. Leave me alone. I'm the elderly. You don't realize how much you didn't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
and I can see that so much. Like, it makes me cringe. Like some of the, fights we had and the things that I said and my just, like ignorance about how, just a lot of things. These unrealistic expectations that I had, and then constantly, feeling disappointed when things were like, not as bad as I thought they were. Like I remember there was one day we were sitting in the car because my ex didn't feel like going into church. He just wasn't feeling it. I think he was, just, I don't know, he was having a rough day, didn't want to go in. And I was like having a meltdown because I was just, what do you mean? Like, we need to go to church. And like, if you're not feeling it, like, like, are you going to stay active in the church? Because I need that. Like, you're my person to get me into heaven. And I need you to, be at this level so that we can get in there. And
existential crisis.
yeah, I was just like, dude, I don't know.
Imagine needing someone else to get to heaven.
Right? Like, because I'm just.
Did you bring the tickets? No, you brought the tickets. I swear you had the ticket.
That's literally a Mormon wedding, though.
Yeah.
Like, if your husband is not worthy to go to the celestial kingdom, but you are, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. So I was freaking out, at just this thing because he just didn't feel like going to church that day, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna get into the celestial kingdom. I've worked so hard for nothing, and is this even worth it anymore? And like we'd only been, I don't think we'd even been married for. I feel like it had been maybe a year at that point, but. Yeah, it hadn't been very long, and I was already just like, oh man, I'm going to have to get a temple divorce and marry some other person. And like only the president of the church can grant a temple divorce. That's the other thing. Like for a woman to get sealed to another man, she has to get, a temple divorce that only the president of the church can allow. But a man, he can get sealed to as many women as he wants. Like he can have multiple wives if he wants to. I mean, it's not legally, and they don't encourage it having multiple like live women sealed to you. But like, if your spouse dies, you can get sealed to another woman, and that's fine. But like if a husband dies, like the woman still has to get that temple divorce to be able to be sealed to another man, which I think is fucking stupid.
Your whole eternal life flashed before your eyes that day.
Yeah, it did. It did. And look at me now. I'm fucked. Definitely not
That went well.
So one thing I've heard recently, right? So it's often been common practice for Mormon weddings to take place in the chapel, like the party reception of it.
Yeah.
So I work with this guy, and he got baptized, but he hasn't been to church in years. And his fiance is TBM. And so
wait, what does? Sorry, I'm a boomer.
Mormon.
Oh my god, gross.
So TBM equals true believing Mormon.
Okay, wait. So what's not a TBM? What's the opposite of that?
Ex-mo.
Us.
Okay.
Yes, us.
Okay.
So anyway, so he's very much less active, and she's TBM, and they're getting married next year, and obviously they're not going to get married in the temple because he doesn't want to go through that when he doesn't completely believe in it. But at the same time, they, in their culture, the woman organizes a wedding. And so they looked into having it at the chapel, and apparently you can't have weddings in the chapels anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
They've done away with that, so I've been told.
Oh, wow.
They blow out the budgets for plenty of young Mormons.
Yeah.
Stuff now. So
like I don't think I would have been able to get married as young as I did if I wasn't able to like just have it all pretty much paid for. Like have the venue for free, and also the Relief Society make all the food, and basically just get all my friends to help put everything together.
Bow ties.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that like there's that inbuilt expectation that you have to have a big wedding, you have to invite all your family, you have to invite lots of people, and you have to provide for them. You have to do this, and this. Whereas I had a wedding the other week in the middle of a high inflation period, and the whole wedding cost us less than $2,500, including over $1,000's worth of clothes.
Dude, that's so good. My wedding cost more than that. What the hell?
Yeah, the whole thing less than $2,500.
Wow.
Mainly because you got to pay for your own food.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fuck. What did I spend so much money on?
Like it was $500 for the venue, $500 for the celebrant.
Yeah.
And I think it's about just over $1,000 for our clothes. And then a couple $100 for flowers, a couple $100 for food, because a couple of people walked away without paying.
Oh yeah. I wondered if those guys had come back and paid.
Oh no, they messaged us and they're like, "Oh, sorry, how do we pay for our lunch? Do we just send it to you?" They generally didn't get the memo. And then my husband's brother was also one of them that walked away without paying.
Oh yeah. Well, he was like 9 beers deep.
Yeah, your special friend that you still haven't messaged back.
Oh yeah. Wait, did he message me? I don't think he did.
No, I was just going to give him your number.
No, don't do that. I'll probably just mess with him, honestly. I'll just like try to convert him to veganism. Then
you'll really be Sister Donna.
Yeah.
What about me? I'm being left out.
I'll find another one for you.
Okay.
Wait, what are you talking about? You have a person.
Yeah, but I won't be a Sister May.
You can be an extra.
Sister wife.
You can get sealed to two men.
Why not?
Oh my god.
Like 7 brides for 7 brothers.
We'll start our own cult where like the women get to be sealed to multiple men.
Yes. Brother husbands.
Brother husbands.
Let's go. One does the weeding, one does the mowing.
Oh, hell yes.
One day we'll have our cult. One day.
Sounds glorious.
Can't
but
wait.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's so wild thinking about the differences between normality and the cult life marriage. Like it's all about pumping it out for the masses so that way you can hurry up and start having kids. Because as soon as you get married, it's like, oh, when are you pregnant yet? When are you having children? Whereas like in normal life, that kind of does happen, but at the same time, it's all personalized and you get to make it worth it. Like I know for myself, I went into that wedding and that marriage, this marriage, because it's still current, just bread, depends if I finish the dishes or not. But it's, I went into it full knowing and fully comprehending of what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
I wanted it and I was committing to him everything. And you don't get that when you're going through a temple ceremony because it's just a rote ceremony and it's just like, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I feel like is the right thing to do.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, like you don't know what the vows are until you actually get like to the sealing. So, it's that whole informed consent thing where like, you're not really even given a chance to think about the commitment that you're making and what it means to be giving yourself to your husband. So I don't know. I definitely think that if I could do things over, I definitely would have waited a lot longer and gone for a worldly marriage.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So cute.
That would have been nice. But I think,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I was just going to change the topic.
Okay.
I did kind of want to talk about, or I guess explore, like how we personally view marriage, how we viewed it before or like while we were in the church compared to now, because I was dating my current partner while I was still a member, and now that I'm not, I'm still kind of I don't know what the word is, like struggling with the concept of marriage and the fact that we're not married still, in trying to deconstruct that whole I need to be married, I need to like do this and do that. And honestly, I feel like I did rush into this relationship because I was home from my mission, like a year, and I still wasn't married. And he was like, yeah, I'll date you. And I was like, fuck yeah. And then I had
You'll do.
Yeah. Honestly, I love it, but yes. Like, and then having this child together, I did feel when we started this whole relationship, or I did feel a lot of pressure to become a mother and to have a child. And that was all decisions made while I was a part of the church. And now that I'm not, I'm realizing, shit, maybe I don't want to get married. Maybe I never wanted kids, but it was just so brainwashed into me. And now I have this child that I'm like, I love so much. But if I could go back, I probably would yeetus the fetus.
Fetus to letus.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, that's just something that I've really struggled with about the concept of marriage in the transition to not being a part of the cult.
And that's one of the hard parts, is that it pushes so many ideals on you that you normally wouldn't have. You know, it takes away the concept of not being prepared for something. You know, having a child is a massive, massive commitment. Financially, emotionally, mentally, everything. You know, it takes everything from you just to have a child. And if you're not ready for that, then you're screwed. You know, you either have to rely on other people or the child suffers.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you're an amazing mother. Like, I've seen you go through so much. You're a superwoman. But, you know, I also recognize that, you know, a lot of the decisions that have led to this point have been because you felt like it was what you were supposed to do. Early on in my marriage, not my marriage, lol. I sound like
what do you mean early on in your marriage? Like last week?
It's been 2 weeks. earlier in my relationship, I still had those Mormon ideals. Like, I was talking about getting married after a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if I proposed? And he's like, no. I'm going to say no.
What are you talking about?
And so it wasn't until like 2 years that he's like, okay, fine. All right. We're getting to that point where it's acceptable to propose, but not get married yet. And then another 4 years after that, okay, I'm ready. Can we get married in like 3 weeks? Can't win. Could take what you can get.
Amazing.
But the thing is, it took years for me to break down those barriers. It wasn't until, and this is a funny thing, because I think he planned this. It wasn't until I had let go of those Mormon ingrained ideals of I must get married, and I got to the point where I'm like, well, if we don't get married, whatever, that's fine. It is what it is. Like, we don't have to be married. It's not the be all and end all. And then he's like, okay, we're good now.
Love that.
Well, I think, and I think that's the time that you should get married, because it shouldn't be sort of a decision where it's like, we should get married. We've been together long enough. We should, like, you know, it's just the right thing to do. It should be more than that, you know. It should be because you guys really want to, not because it's an expectation that you have, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's like the hardest thing, though, is kind of realizing that, hey, jumping into marriage is not normal, and it's not going to be the happily ever after that we grew up on as Mormons. Like, it's fucking hard. And also letting go of that pressure that I need to be married, I need to be doing this is really difficult. And I'm kind of at the point, I'm like, is marriage something that I actually want, or is it something that I'm needing to deconstruct and like let go of that.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Well, it's a great excuse for a party, and I'm always down for parties. So I think you should definitely get married.
Okay, sounds good.
That's my 2 cents. But yeah, no, I think yes. It's worth really considering. But as somebody who's been married and who is no longer married, I can say, there is a little bit of a financial cost in splitting up with somebody, like getting a divorce. And there is, I guess in any breakup, there is that whole emotional side of it as well. But, there is life beyond marriage as well. Like, if you do get married and things don't work out, it's not the end of the world.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, I think that was like a really big, learning curve for me. And I think, having come out the other side of it, like I can see that, the marriage that I had in the church, like, yeah, it was really just a piece of paper, and we really did just get married because we had to. It was required, and like, sure, I certainly, loved my partner at the time, and I think, maybe we still would have gotten married like later on had we, had, I guess, a bit more time. And some people, some Mormons do end up dating for a long time before getting married. They do wait longer. I was just eager, and I thought that I was really mature for my age, and I was making the right decision, and yeah, and but that's not always the case. And I think my opinion on marriage now is that yeah, like I don't really care to get married again. I think if I did, I'd definitely keep my name, because I wouldn't want to go through the trouble of changing my name again, because that's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
You should tell my husband that.
Yeah.
It's all happening slowly.
Yeah. No, I not doing that shit again. It's annoying. It's just, like when you move house and you have to change your address on like literally everything. It's like that, but worse, because, you need your name for fucking everything. Yeah. And you got to provide evidence and stuff. Like I still have some accounts that are in my old name, my married name, like my credit card at the moment. But anyway, is what it is. I'll just wait till that expires in a couple of years.
Just don't get divorced and you'll never have to change it again.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think like I feel like marriage is something that, like if I was with somebody for a long time and I felt comfortable and could see myself being with them for the rest of my life, and if they wanted to get married, like I would be open to it, but it's not something that I would personally push for. Like I feel no need for it. But nice excuse for a party, and
Yeah.
can definitely get behind that.
I honestly don't get the Mormons that marry people that they just met. Like that scares me. Like you don't know them. They could be a serial killer.
And all of a sudden you're just giving every power to them.
Exactly. It's terrifying. I don't know how they do that. I could not be me.
I feel like I remember in like a bishop's youth discussion or something when they were talking about marriage, and the bishop was saying that like any two, like, soulmates aren't a thing. Any two righteous people can make a marriage work. And that was sort of like that stayed with me. Like anytime I was just like, oh, I don't know if I've been with this guy long enough. I was just like, no, we're both righteous. It will work. Don't even worry about it.
Just more evidence that it is absolute bullshit. And I mean, like, that's what my mum would keep saying throughout my whole childhood growing up about her and my father. And holy fucking shit. Oh, their marriage is just a whole lot of trauma that should have ended. Yeah. It shouldn't have even started, to be honest. Oh, yes. My God. And
That's a good point. It's like the whole point of breaking up a marriage, it's taught that that's so wrong. Like, going back to my spiritual thought from the beginning, it follows on to say some of this stuff. I'm gonna quote again. And now a word of warning: one who destroys a marriage takes upon himself a very great responsibility indeed. Marriage is sacred! ! To willingly destroy a marriage, either your own or that of another couple, is to offend our God. Such a thing will not be lightly considered in the judgments of the Almighty, and in the eternal scheme of things will not easily be forgiven. Do not threaten nor break up a marriage. Like, this shit that they're teaching
going to hell.
Like, you have to make it work no matter what. You made the choice back when you're 18 to marry this person, and then now you're eternal companion. So whether you like it or not, you're stuck with them. Just make it happen.
And honestly, that's fucked up, because as a child that grew up in those kind of situations, it's the amount of trauma that you receive from those situations is disgusting. Like, yes, we weren't abused and shit, but oh my God, like, I cannot even begin to explain how it makes me feel to have grown up in a situation where I wish my parents would divorce every single day. They still bring it up, like, oh, what would you do? I'm like, just get a fucking divorce already. Like, my God.
Yeah.
God.
It's not working.
Like, even on the flip side, like, I remember thinking, like, before I came out, that I would never get married because, to tamper with such a sacred thing is, it's worse than, thinking about being gay or anything like that. Like, there's so many things that will go wrong if it doesn't work out. Because at one point I'm like, maybe I'll just get married and have a family and do the right thing. I'll just put my feelings to the side and just do this. Well, what happens if it doesn't work though? What happens if we realize that we're not going to go ahead with this, or she finds out that I'm gay, and all this shit is like, it's damaging, and it causes so much anxiety and stress. Like, I remember endless nights where I would just cry myself to sleep because I just thought I would never be happy because I couldn't have that one person in my life. It's damaging.
Yeah. And I think, it is the worst for people in the gay community, because I feel like gay people are just expected to either live alone and not have a partner for their entire life, or they have to pretend like, you marry somebody of the opposite sex who, you're not attracted to, and you're expected to have children with them and, pretend to live like you have this beautiful, fulfilled life. And it's just, I don't know. I just can't imagine anybody wanting to put themselves through that. So, I think, I think it's ridiculous that the church is just so against gay people getting married. And I understand, like, their whole argument about having children and whatever, but, like, man, it's just, why would God make people this way and then deny them happiness? It's fucked up.
Amen.
Amen.
Exactly. Well, I think that concludes our meeting for today. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to discuss?
It's going to take me forever to edit this one.
Yeah, no, I just had a look at the time. I was like, oh, okay.
And we've had so many points where we're like, cut this out.
Yeah. No, I am well and truly done. I have dinner waiting for me and I am starving.
Yeah, well, I think that was a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
For our listeners, thank you so much for sticking with us through, it's almost been a year, I think.
Has it? I don't know. When did we start this?
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Maybe not a complete year, but it's been a good shot.
Good chunk of the year.
Good show.
Yeah.
We posted our first episode on the 10th of April.
Wow. We're doing good, guys. I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
We posted about the same time as General Conference.
Oh.
Speaking of, that was this past weekend.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to break down everything that has been said.
Are you gonna like read through / listen to the conference talks?
I'm not sure yet. I just know an update to the tattoo and piercing thing, and I'm so mad. I'm like, I thought I was being unique. I'm not. But yes, I think we better end there. I'm getting tired, and this is not some food. So yeah, for our listeners, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That is Once Upon a Mormon, with spaces for Facebook and without spaces for Instagram. And if you have any questions, concerns, or queries, don't hesitate to email us at onceuponamormon@gmail.com. And
again, that's onceuponamormon@gmail.com.
Just go be a voice actor already.
Today only. Crikey, have I got a deal for you?
Oh my God.
That's not a knife. Now this is a knife.
Amazing.
Someone needs a nap.
I hope everyone's enjoyed my memes this week.
They've been on.
Yes.
Oh my God. I went to get coffee last week and I just had a quick scroll at some of the ones you had coming up, and I was trying so hard not to just look like an idiot laughing in the Donut King line.
Joseph Smith's sex life, my Mormon sex life.
Yeah. So hard. I love the one about the testimony meeting. They stood around and prayed over the casserole, and I was like, oh my God. I showed my manager that, and she was like, are they really like that? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you live like that? And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's so embarrassing for you. I was like, I know.
I'll have to go find some
Really
more.
is.
I signed up to a bunch of ex-mormon pages this last week, so I'm going to go look for more memes.
Beautiful.
Like Instagram, like the ex-mormon Instagram pages are fucking amazing.
I know. I follow them on some of our business pages, and we've been interacting on there. It's fucking
I love is it Dunder? Yeah, Dunder Mormon.
Yeah.
They do all the office memes that relate to Mormon stuff. I fucking love that.
Well, all right, Boomer, can you start scheduling some memes?
I don't know. I feel like that's beyond my pay grade.
I mean, well, we'll factor that in next time we record. We'll add an extra 2 hours on to teach you how to post Facebook messages.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we already need to factor in an extra 15 minutes to set up.
I want a very beautifully curated PowerPoint presentation, please.
I think we've got the microphone down pat now for you. It only took like 17 minutes today.
Which I think was pretty good, guys. It turned out that I was using the wrong cord. So that was good to learn. Look at me go.
So proud of you.
Anyway, we leave these things with you in the name of Rusty, the marriage celebrant. Amen.
Amen.
Sweet baby Jesus.
A family here on earth.
They are so shit to me.
That's my day, really.
Oh, God.
All right, I'll stop recording now.